Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. I'm TV's Dave Galvin. So you're going to have to be a little patient with the background noise. It's very hot here in Casa La Dave Galvin. And so I have all the air conditioning going, and I'm not going to turn them off because by the time I'm done with this, it would be, 87 degrees in my house, and I ain't dealing with it. So as most of you know, I just came back from Lake Tahoe, and we were staying at the Holiday Inn Club Vacations Tahoe Ridge Resort. And here are my thoughts about it. So you want the view and you want the luxury, but you want the ultimate kind of mountain escape that takes your breath away. You expect a certain level of service when you're paying X amount of dollars, and you expect a certain level of quality when you're in a place called a resort. You expect the details to be handled. You expect the room to be pristine. You expect to be treated like a valued guest, especially when you're a member of the club like I am. So the reality of Holiday Inn Club Vacations Tahoe Ridge, it's a journey of highs and lows, and it's a place of stunning vistas and baffling maintenance choices. So I recently spent some time at this property, as you know, and let's talk about the bad stuff first. Get that out of the way. So when you arrive, look, I was tired from my drive. It was only an hour flight from Portland to Tahoe. And then I have to go get the car. And then I got to drive an hour, almost an hour and a half from where I got my car all the way to up the mountain to 7,500 feet above sea level. And you're tired. It was almost 9:30 at night, and I was beat. I don't mind telling you. The check-in process was just not as simple as exchanging your ID and a credit card for a room key, like it should be. It is a tactical maneuver. Even if you are an existing owner, as I am, the pressure starts the moment you step foot in the lobby. You cannot simply get your key and just go. You are funneled to a second desk where the welcome feels more like an interrogation. The guy turns to me and goes, you need to attend this presentation. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I'm all right. I'm already an owner. Oh, but if you attend this presentation, we can get you a complimentary dinner. No, I'm good. I'm with my son here, and it's just not going to work. And after saying no about 4 or 5 times, finally, I'm just like, look, I'm tired. I just want to get to my room and get some rest. Look, I pay my dues and I understand the system, but I'm hounded constantly for an upgrade every time I breathe. They hold your room key hostage until they've made the pitch. It's aggressive and it's uncomfortable. It is the opposite of the relaxing start of a vacation that you are paying for. And this is a reoccurring theme at the brand. At the Desert Club in Las Vegas, the pressure was similar. But here on the Ridge, you feel more isolated. You're up on top of a mountain and you kind of feel trapped. The upsell is a shadow that follows you from the front desk to the elevator. It is a pressure tactic that leaves a sour taste in your mouth before you even see your room. Days later, I happened to be walking around through the clubhouse when the same dude who was trying to pressure me into attending this presentation yelled across the room, "Hey, yo, I still have like 2 spots open. You sure you don't want to come?" I'm like, dude, I'm here. I'm on vacation. I'm with my son. Leave me the hell alone. The next is the no AC reality. You book your stay. You receive a confirmation email. It tells you that there is no air conditioning. You get to the front desk. They tell you there is no air conditioning. You walk down the hallway. There are signs reminding you that there is no air conditioning. They want to make sure you know exactly what you are getting into. There are times in Lake Tahoe when the mountain air is enough. There are times when a cross breeze from a balcony is the ultimate luxury. But there are also times when the Nevada sun beats down on your room when you're on the 5th floor, and it gets really uncomfortable. When you're paying for a luxury experience, just open a window. It feels like an inadequate solution. It's 85 degrees outside and the air is stagnant. Your room becomes a furnace. They provide fans, but fans just kind of move the hot air around. You find yourself planning your day around when the room might finally cool down enough to sleep, which actually, in all honesty, didn't take too long. Once the sun went down, there was a nice breeze that came through that cooled everything down. And I left the fan in the open window. The window's open about 4 inches. I opened up all the windows and I just put the fan right there and just let it suck in as much cool air as I can. But it is a fact of life at Tahoe Ridge. It is a fact that feels increasingly out of step with this elite status that this brand tries to project. Now, I expect a clean room. You expect a vacuum floor. You expect a hallway that doesn't look like it has survived a decade of muddy ski boots without a single shampooing. The cleanliness at Tahoe Ridge is very disappointing. Let's talk about the carpets. The hallways in every building I visited were filthy. These are high traffic areas, I get it, but there is also a difference between lived in and neglected. The carpets in the hallways are begging for a professional shampooer. They are stained, they are worn, and they contribute to general feeling of low maintenance. Now, inside the room, the story doesn't get much better. I actually found at one point a rotten grape Skittle on the floor, a single shriveled purple candy that had been there for some time. This isn't about just missing a spot, it's about a lack of detail. If the housekeeping staff isn't seeing a Skittle on the carpet and getting rid of it, are they really cleaning high-touch surfaces? Are they vacuuming under the furniture? The evidence suggests that they are doing the bare minimum. It reminds me of my stay in Las Vegas where I found dust thick enough to write my name on the light fixtures. It seems to be a systematic issue within the maintenance and housekeeping departments of these resorts. They have great bones, but they're letting the skin and muscle rot. So you head to the clubhouse, you see the indoor-outdoor pool, and it looks fantastic on YouTube. It really does. A way to swim regardless of mountain weather. You get a little closer, and that illusion shatters. This water was filthy, and I'm not being dramatic. There was what appeared to be a massive oil slick floating on top of the surface of the water, and I assume it's a buildup of sunscreen from the dozens of families using the pool. But the result was a shimmering, greasy film that made the water look really uninviting. So I understand we're in the mountains, and I understand that trees are going to drop pine needles, and nature happens. But someone needs to clean this pool. Someone needs to skim the surface at least once a day of all the needles and stuff that falls off the pine trees all around you. Someone needs to check that filtration system. This is a resort of this size and this price point. A filthy pool is a major strike. Now, there are other pools and hot tubs scattered throughout the property, which is a plus. However, the pools are not heated in the Tahoe Mountains, even in the summer. An unheated pool is essentially a cold plunge. Most guests end up huddled in the hot tubs because the main pools are just too cold to enjoy. One time I went to the laundry room and I see a TV mounted on the wall, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll flip the channels while my clothes dry. Picked up the remote and nothing was happening. So I checked the back as one does, and the remote had no batteries in it. Now, this is a small thing, but it is telling. It is the exact issue I encountered in Las Vegas. Why was I provided a TV remote if you aren't going to provide $1's worth of batteries and needed to make it work? It's dead amnesty. It exists in physical space, but it serves no purpose. Then there's the garbage chute. The light bulb in the garbage chute was completely out. Okay, so you walk down the hall, and to your right on the 5th floor of the terrace building was the garbage chute. You open the door, and then you look down, and you notice there's bags and bags of garbage all over the floor. It makes no sense to me. Why is that? So I go to flip the light on, and the light bulbs were burned out. Now, you have this dark room, a pile of trash, and a clear signal that maintenance hasn't walked through this building in probably days. Someone who works there should have walked through, found the garbage chute, opened the door, played with the light switch, and noticed that the bulb wasn't working, and of course noticed about 800 bags of garbage on the floor. Seriously, replacing a light bulb takes just a few minutes, and leaving it for the duration of a stay tells the guests that their comfort and safety are low on the priority list. So what did work? You might think I just hated my stay, but I didn't. There are things that the Holiday Inn Club Vacations does get absolutely right, and Tahoe Ridge is no exception. First of all, the room size. The villas are spacious. They're huge. You have room to move, room to breathe, and a layout that makes sense for families or groups. This is where the brand shines. They do provide that home away from home footprint that a standard hotel room just cannot touch. The under the building garage was a godsend. Keeping your car out of the intense Nevada sun, or in some cases, the winter snow, is a huge benefit. It keeps the vehicle cool or warm. It keeps it clean. It adds a layer of convenience that you really appreciate when you're loading or unloading your gear. The customer service was great, as it almost always is with this brand. The staff members I interacted with were friendly and professional and genuinely tried to be helpful, even when they were delivering the no AC news or trying to get me to attend a sales pitch. They are trained well and they handle the guests with grace. The outside of the resort is well kept, the curb appeal is high, the landscaping is manicured, the buildings do look very impressive from the road, and the overall vibe is very quiet and peaceful. You feel the serenity of the mountains when you are walking the grounds. And security is a top priority. You see presence, you see the checks, you feel safe on the property in a remote ridge top location. Knowing that the resort takes security seriously is a major plus. So finally, you want the truth about Tahoe Ridge? It is a beautiful property that's being let down by a lack of attention to detail. The bones are there. The views are unbeatable. The room layouts are perfect for a luxury getaway. But the oil slick pool, the filthy carpets, the missing batteries, and the high pressure sales tactics create a friction that prevents the resort from being unforgettable. If they could just invest in some carpet shampooers, a box of AA batteries, and a consistent pool cleaning schedule, the place would be a world-class destination. Although I will admit, I did enjoy my time at the Desert Club experience in Las Vegas more than at Tahoe Ridge. Well, that's it for us today on this Tuesday. Join us with TV's Dave Galvin for another episode of Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvin. I am TV's Dave Galvin. We'll see you Thursday.